Hi, I'm Eric D'Amato, and it's that time again. It's time for another episode of Film Swap. That's where myself and Tommy Knock the Horror Guy over at Tommy Knock the Horror Guy choose a film and tell that hopefully that the other person hasn't seen, or at least has not seen in an extremely long time, and well, they review it. So I picked a film for Tommy Knocker. He picked a film for me, and the film he picked for me was Madman, not to be confused with Madman, which is a different movie. We're probably going to get to on Mindbreakers eventually. So Madman, 1989, rated R, an hour and 29 minutes, 5.9 out of 10. A bookshop clerk and a wannabe actress starts seeing the disfigured killer from her 1950s pulp novels come to life and start killing people around her. She tries to convince her cop boyfriend, but to no avail. This does sound very cool. I've seen pictures of it. It looks very cool. Kind of gives me a yellow, I think it's Yellow Rose of... Let me double check. Purple Rose, yeah. Kind of Purple Rose of Cairo air to it. The whole fictional character coming to life. This is a trope that was used to less than stellar effect in a lot of 90s movies. Monkey Bones comes to mind. But anyway, let's watch this one. See how it turns out. See you when you enjoy the trailer. See you when you actually review the movie.
They say that if you want to escape reality, all you really have to do is pick up a good book.
Why don't we just take it from the top, okay?
It all started with the book. One minute I was reading about him, and the next minute he was standing right next to me.
But when the escape becomes an obsession,
I mean, how can you read this crap?
I can't stop.
it is the return to reality that becomes the challenge.
Why would anybody do such a thing?
Because he thinks that it will please me.
Lovely.
What is happening to you?
Damn it, Richard, listen to me. I'm telling you, there's going to be another killing tonight.
You can't stake out every building in the city based on some cryptic passage from a 30-year-old novel.
Going down.
Just read the book, Richard, please.
You will love me.
Hi, Madman. Read any good books lately?
Alright, so Madman, aka Hardcover. This was good. I quite liked this one, actually. One of the best that Tommy Knock the Horror Guy has given me thus far. It's kind of like... It's actually funny, because I gave him Phantom of the Opera, the Robert Englund one, quite a while ago. This is a lot like that. They're very, very similar movies. In premise. Let me just double check. Phantom... Yeah, it came out the same year, too. 1989. Phantom of the Opera came out in November. Let's double check when Madman came out in the spring. So Madman came out first. So I think Phantom of the Opera may have borrowed from it, because the Phantom in Eric Dessler and Malcolm Brandt / Dr. Kessler look really, really close. I mean, hell, Kessler, Dessler. It's. I think my favorite Phantom of the Opera movie may have been inspired or stole some things from this movie. Like the making your own, being deformed, but like stealing people's facial features and sewing them on. So we open in a hotel where the aforementioned Dr. Kessler is leaving in a huff. He has a beret on, black cloak. I think we're in the 40s or possibly late 40s, early 50s. He's leaving an apartment building. Someone reports animal noises from his room. They go up. They think they find his room's a fucking mess. Chinese tobacco cartons everywhere, cockroaches, a box surrounded by feces, and presumably they think it's a child in the box, and then there's a growling, and then a woman. We cut to the woman who was reading it in modern day, and we find out that we were actually in a book the whole time. A book called "Much of Madness, More of Sin" by Malcolm Brandt. Her boyfriend comes over. She scared herself. She calls her boyfriend. He comes over. He's a detective. This is Mona. She's our main character, by the way. I don't really like the boyfriend so much at the beginning. He's very dismissive of horror as a genre, and I don't respect people who brush off horror. It's just a personal thing. Obviously, horror is very important to me. Horror as a genre is very important to me personally. And if someone brushes it off, all of it off as crap, I don't know, that person and I are not going to get along. Now, I'm not saying no horror is crap. Obviously, there is crap in horror. I've seen enough in my time to say that. But brushing it all off as crap, you're denying things like you can't group in things like Candyman, The Exorcist, Amityville Horror, The Shining, with The Omen, I guess Scream if we have to. I don't like it personally, but I'll admit it's well made. We can't really group this in with like your Asylum or your or as much as I liked it last month's review, Mother's Day. You can't group those in together. They're kind of, that's a tangent. So sorry about the tangent. So they have sex. The woman works at our main character Mona. She works at a bookshop, obviously, and she's going through an estate sale where she thinks she stumbled across a copy of the other book by Morgan Brandt, the eponymous Madman. They can't find it, and they're selling some books. They're having this conversation. Her boyfriend wants her to come over for the holidays and meet his parents, and they're having this whole conversation while their friend is serving a customer, selling him she's checking him out. She's not really. And I used to do this kind of stuff as a job, like customer service in a store. You don't ignore the customer and keep on having your own conversation. All right, that's not something you do. Y'all should know better. You seem like you've been doing this a while and are professionals. But then she's taking an acting class. A couple are doing the death scene from Othello. The killing of Othello murdering Desdemona. If you haven't seen Othello, see Othello or read Othello. I'd recommend seeing it rather than reading it. It's a play. But they're doing that. They get a part in a sitcom. Apparently, I think it's not important. Just establishing her friend, who seems like he keeps trying to ask her out, even though she's dating the cop. We may have a Cyrano de Bergerac joke about a nose. That's actually foreshadowing. And then there's the actress who also will come back. Berkowitz. Yeah, Berkowitz. But when Mona gets home, the book I, Madman has arrived. It is in shit condition, but it's a book from like the 50s, so fine. I do got to say, I've read horror novels from the 50s. These are not indicative of that. These seem less novels and more like prose stories from like Tales from the Crypt, but longer. This whole movie gives me a kind of Tales from the Crypt, like early EC horror comics vibe. Which I kind of like. Well, I'm a sucker for EC horror comics. I fucking love them. Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, Haunt of Fear. I love that shit. So, the book's there. She starts reading it. Oh, but by the way, the premise of the other one with the long title, Much of Madness Morphs In, is that he, Dr. Kessler, made a half-human, half-jackal person with science, trying to create a super being, and he raised it as a son, and it hates him, and he kills it. I think it kills him in an alleyway. I don't know. I, Madman, is he's fallen madly in love with an actress, but she doesn't want anything to do with him because he's hideous, so he steals people's faces. I don't know. It's one of those situations where I'd much rather be watching the book, the movie within the movie than the movie. But that's a whole other thing. She's reading the book. She spooks herself again. Almost kills her boyfriend. Hits her boyfriend with a fire poker because he just he spooks her. He brought pizza. They find we cut to Dr. Kessler pursuing and killing the actress Berkowitz to steal her. We find out he injects her head with Novocaine, and then he cuts her scalp off. Oh, he lost his facial features. We actually see him uncover, and we see he doesn't have a nose or lips. It looks really cool and skeleton-y. He cut off all his stuff himself, as some kind of twisted romantic gesture because he was drunk. I don't know. Don't do impromptu surgery on yourself at any point, but definitely don't do it when you've been drinking, because alcohol thins the blood, and you will die from blood loss if you try this. So he steals the hair, sews it on. He then shows up with his mouth covered to harass her at the bus and tell her about the murder. But he's not there. He might be a figment of her imagination. And then she's in her apartment listening to music in a later scene. Oh, we find out that we cut to the bookstore because she wants to thank her co-worker for the book, but she did not get the book. It's from the estate sale, and it turns out the estate sale was from a Morgan Brandt, as in the author of the book, and the box that the Jackal Boy was in at the beginning. We see that there are a few textbooks by him, and apparently I, Madman, was part of this estate sale. Now, this I kinda don't get because of the condition the book was in. Like, I haven't met any authors, but I have seen how most people keep their books. This looks like it was this looks like a paperback you could get for 10 cents in the bargain bin of a thrift shop. It's that kind of condition. This is not how the author of a book would keep their copy of this hard-to-find book. Like maybe if this was a guy who resented and hated the stuff he was writing, which isn't where this goes, by the way. Morgan Brandt does not. He's not cursed. It's not one of those situations. Like, I get it if he hated the books and tried to destroy them. Kind of like in The Road Virus Goes North by Stephen King, what the painter does to his art. But no, there's no reason why the book's in that shit condition. Yes, it's 30 years old, but I have books that are 30 years old that are pristine. I don't know. Where was I? So she's at her apartment after seeing this, and then she is listening to music, and then the pianist next door, she sees him get murdered by Kessler, and then he steals his ears and sews them on his own head. I don't know. She calls the police. She unfortunately makes the horror movie mistake of telling the police exactly what's going on. As in, there is the character from the book, came out of the book and is killing people, so obviously the cops brush her off as insane, as they obviously were going to. She then goes to visit. She sees some of the books, mainly Madman, was listed as nonfiction, and that the publisher's in the city. I think it's Los Angeles. It's somewhere in California. There's fucking palm trees. So she goes to see the publisher. The publisher assumes she's pitching a novel, and it's like, nah, it's okay. I'm not looking for anything to publish. But she asks about Morgan Brandt, and find out that a lot of stuff that happened to Morgan Brandt is similar to what happened to Dr. Kessler, and that he tried to write a short story he was given to write, but he said that the characters didn't want to do what he told them, and that he insisted that his novels be published as nonfiction. Which, okay, you can't do that. But just to be clear, even if it's inspired by true events, like take for instance the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That is based loosely on the events of the Ed Gein murders, or the Amityville Horror, which is based on admittedly lies told about the Holtz murder case. Neither Texas Chainsaw Massacre or the Amityville Horror can, despite being based loosely on real events, they cannot be called nonfiction. Same with this. If you printed this a horror novel like this and labeled it as nonfiction, you could get sued, like super sued, for false advertising for one, possibly slander, or libel. In print, it's libel, right? The scene from Spider-Man 2. So like you can't just call it nonfiction because you believe it's true. Nonfiction is like science textbooks and history books and biographies, and even then, you're never really sure with biographies. At least autobiographies. Anyway, so she has to talk with the publisher. He was ripped apart. He was put in an asylum, and then he just left, because apparently you can just fucking leave the asylum, and he got torn apart by wild animals. The next person who's killed is her friend, who wanted to play they were going to do the Cyrano de Bergerac scene. He gets his nose cut off, which was what was foreshadowed, and he puts it on. And then she reads more of the book. She thinks she knows who the next victim's going to be, because she interprets a bit about stone cats and books as being the public library. I don't know if I know the New York Public Library has the stone lions in front of it. I don't know if this if there's one in California, but it's a library of stone lions. She tells her boyfriend, who tells the cops about it, and they're going to and they do a stakeout. The librarian's going to help with the stakeout, but she passes out because she's a librarian. So they were Mona pretends to be the librarian, but it's a dud. They all pull their guns, like, "Oh, we got the guy," but it's just the janitor. It's like that scene in Manhunter where they close in on the guy running, but it's just a guy going for a jog. Then she checks it again, like, "Oh no, it's not the library. I misinterpreted it." Oh, obviously, the boyfriend's fucking done with her bullshit right now. And much more to the point, his boss, the chief of police, the commissioner, is pissed at him. It's like, you have wasted police time and resources because your girlfriend is insane. Shut the fuck up. You're on notice. So then they go. Mona decides, "Oh no, it's not a stone cat. It's an actual cat," because in an earlier scene, her friend of the bookshop just adopted a cat from the street. A really big cat. It's like almost as big as my cat, but it's hard to tell because these women are fairly small. But a nice big ginger cat. He's a cute cat. I like it. I like cats. But I don't want to get on a tangent about cats on top of every other tangent this review. So she goes to the bookshop. The cat's she sees the cat licking up the blood. Her friend's already been killed, and then the guy who it's revealed the killer is actually Morgan Brandt. He took her lips and sewed them on already. So what he's going to do is, if she does, what he does in the book is, since she won't love him, he takes her heart and wears it around his neck like a crucifix. You could not get this through publishers in the 50s, by the way, because they say it was written 30 years ago. Yeah, no. They were not going to let you publish this, Morgan. How did you get this published in the 50s? Limited runs, for one thing. Definitely limited run. And so he's chasing her around with a straight razor. She's trying to trip him with books. Throw stuff at him. Then the boyfriend shows up. And because she left a message, which I guess he got at the police station, he shows up, shoots Morgan Brandt. Morgan Brandt goes down, but because it's a horror movie, no one ever fucking double taps. So they're consoling each other. Then obviously he comes the fuck back. Then it's a chase around. He gets rid of the gun. They wrestle. They're grappling. Morgan Brandt and the boyfriend. And then somehow she reads from Much of Madness, More of Sin, and then the fucking jackal thing exists, I guess. And it's like, if you've seen The Gate, it looks like one of the creatures from The Gate, but full size with a longer tail. So it's trying to, it obviously, you remember, it hates Morgan, so it's trying to kill Morgan. And they're fighting, and then Morgan manages to fucking Punisher it. Like, slams a window down on it without and then the glass cuts it in fucking half. It's like a kill from the Punisher game. But then it gets up walking on its arms and fucking throws him out the window. And then everyone lives happily ever after and the movie's over. This was a weird one. I liked it. But it reminded me of, aside from Phantom of the Opera, it reminded me of The Ogre, if you remember that one from a while ago. The movie that was one of the 3 movies advertised as Demons 3. Had a very feel to that, like the book coming to life kind of thing. Had a real feel like that. I liked it, personally. I don't really give scores, well, at least not serious scores. I'd probably watch this again on my own time if I can find it on DVD. I had to watch this on Tubi. I couldn't find it anywhere else. So I had a few ad breaks, which were, my favorite was the one that was only 2 seconds. That was the best ad. But Tubi's got a lot of stuff. Like, if you're curious, though, there are movies that we have already reviewed that were called similar to this. Neon Maniacs is not fucking similar to this, and Slime City is also not similar to this. So anyway, I hope so that was Madman, suggested by Tommy Knocker, the horror guy, the June film swap. See you for another film swap next month. As you know, I think we said this in the last episode of Mindbreakers, but June and July, there will be no Mindbreakers. There will be a Let's Play of Knights of the Old Republic instead, because June and July are typically hiatus for this show. So sorry about that. Or you're welcome if you hate the show, but if you hate my show, why are you here? Not important. Anyway, I'll see you in the next month. And see you back in August for the 300th episode of Mindbreakers. I hope Tommy Knock, the horror guy, likes what I gave him to watch. I gave him a movie that I have seen so many fucking times and have reviewed, Lamberto Bava's Demons. So that's going to be fun. Last month I gave him the Omega Man, another one of my favorites. So let's hope you like Demons, and check out Tommy Knocker the Horror Guy's channel. And I will see you next time. I've rambled on long enough. Ciao.